Here's a question that a lot of people don't say out loud, but it's the one thing sitting in back of their mind all the time. What did I actually mean to them? I mean, really. Not the polite answer, not the vague answer, the real one. Because when a relationship ends, especially when it ends in a confusing way, that question starts looping in your head. You start thinking things like, did they ever really love me? Was any of it real? Did I matter to them the way they mattered to me? What do they feel about me now? And the strange thing is, that question doesn't go away easily. Even months later, sometimes years later, the mind still comes back to it. Think about what usually happens after a breakup where the ending wasn't clear. You don't get a neat explanation. You don't get a moment where everything is laid out and suddenly it all makes sense. Instead, you get silence or distance or vague answers that don't really answer anything. And when the brain doesn't get a clear explanation, it tries to solve the puzzle on its own. So you start replaying the moments. You remember things they said. You remember how they looked at you. You remember times when the connection felt real. And then you start asking yourself, were those moments real for them too? Or was it real just for me? Let me slow this down for a second, because the question people are actually asking when they say, what did they feel about me, is something deeper. They're really asking, did I matter? Did I matter to them in the way they mattered to me? That's the core of it. Because when someone leaves without fully explaining why, it can make the whole relationship feel uncertain. You start wondering if you misunderstood everything. You might even start questioning your own memory. You think, if it meant so much to me, how could they walk away? And that's when the mind starts doing something very human. It tries to fill in the blanks, sometimes with hope, sometimes with doubt, sometimes with painful stories. And the more you try to figure it out, the more questions appear. Do they ever think about me? Do they miss me? Are they happier now without me? Would they come back if they could? Now, here's the difficult part of this question. Most of the time, the person you're wondering about cannot actually give you the answer you're hoping for. Not necessarily because they're hiding something, but because people often don't fully understand their own emotional behavior. Someone can feel genuine connection in a moment. They can care about you, enjoy your company, feel warmth toward you, and at the same time still not be able to sustain the closeness of a relationship. Those things can exist together. And that's what makes these situations so confusing, because the mind wants a clear category. Either they loved me or they never cared. But human emotions don't always work that cleanly. Someone can feel something real and still pull away. Someone can care about you and still decide they don't want the relationship. That's hard for the brain to accept, because the brain prefers simple answers. But relationships are rarely simple. Let me pause for a second. If you're watching this and thinking, yes, this is exactly the question that keeps coming back into my mind, you're not the only one. A lot of people quietly sit with this exact thought. If this resonates with you, like the video, follow the channel, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this, because a lot of people feel very alone with these questions. Now, here's something worth thinking about. Sometimes the question, what do they feel about me, keeps us emotionally tied to the past much longer than we realize, because the mind keeps waiting for a definitive answer. But the truth is, the answer doesn't arrive, not clearly, not completely, and over time something interesting can happen. The importance of the question itself begins to fade, not because the relationship didn't matter, but because life keeps moving forward. New experiences appear, new connections appear, new understanding appears, and eventually the mind doesn't need that answer in the same way it once did. Not because you forced yourself to stop caring, but because the emotional grip of the question slowly loosens. And that's often when people realize something surprising. The relationship mattered, the feelings were real, but the unanswered questions don't have to define the rest of your life. And if you're currently stuck in that mental loop, replaying memories, analyzing messages, wondering what they feel about you now, Sometimes it helps to talk through this situation with someone who understands these patterns. If you want help working through your own situation, you could book a one-on-one session through the link in my bio, or reach out through pop call, chat, voice, or video. We'll talk about it like real people. No lectures, just clarity. All right, talk soon.